The dawn of the Silk Road. Long before the internet or global shipping, the Silk Road emerged as the world's first major trade network, knitting together diverse cultures across continents. This ancient network of trade routes, flourishing from around the 2nd century BCE to the 18th century CE, was not a single path, but a vast web of interconnected trails spanning thousands of miles. At its heart lay the exchange of luxurious silk from China, which gave the Silk Road its name. However, the Silk Road was about much more than just silk. It was a vibrant channel for the trade of goods, ideas, and culture, stretching from the Far East to the Mediterranean Sea. Along this network, merchants, pilgrims, monks, soldiers, nomads, and urban dwellers from China, India, Persia, Arabia, Greece, and Rome intermingled, creating a melting pot of languages, religions, and customs. The Silk Road's impact was profound. It facilitated not only the exchange of commodities like spices, tea, and precious stones, but also the spread of knowledge, technology, and art. As traders and travelers moved along these routes, they shared innovations such as papermaking and printing, philosophies like Buddhism and Christianity, and artistic styles and techniques. Despite its name, the Silk Road was never governed by a single empire or entity. Instead, it was a constantly evolving network influenced by the political and economic conditions of the regions it touched. Its existence was shaped by the rise and fall of empires, the discovery of sea routes, and the shifting patterns of global trade. The Silk Road stands as a testament to human ingenuity and the desire for connection, demonstrating how our ancestors bridged vast distances and cultural divides to share the riches of their worlds. The cultural tapestry of the Silk Road. The Silk Road was more than a conduit for goods. It was a rich tapestry of cultural exchange that profoundly shaped the civilizations it touched. This network of routes acted like veins, pumping not only merchandise but also ideas, customs, and beliefs across continents. One of the most significant impacts of the Silk Road was the spread of religions. Buddhism, for example, traveled from its birthplace in India to distant lands like China, Korea, and Japan, carried by monks and pilgrims who traversed these routes. Similarly, Islam, Christianity, Zoroastrianism, and even Manichaeism found new followers far from their origins, thanks to the Silk Road's connective pathways. Languages and literature also flowed along the Silk Road. Stories, poems, and philosophical texts were exchanged, influencing the literary traditions of different cultures. The epic Persian poem Shahnameh and the Indian collection of fables Panchatantra are just a few examples of literary works that transcended their original boundaries through Silk Road exchanges. Art and architecture were equally transformed. The Silk Road facilitated the mixing of artistic styles and techniques, leading to unique blends of Persian, Indian, Greek, and Chinese art. This fusion is evident in the Buddhist cave temples of Dunhuang in China, where murals depict a blend of artistic influences, or in the architectural wonders along the Silk Road that incorporate diverse styles. Culinary practices were not left untouched. The exchange of spices, fruits, and cooking techniques enriched the cuisines of many cultures. Ingredients like pepper, cinnamon, and other spices traveled from South Asia to Europe and the Middle East, changing culinary landscapes forever. The Silk Road was a melting pot, a place where people from distant lands met and shared their customs, creating a rich cultural mosaic that resonates in our globalized world today. The economic impact of the Silk Road. The Silk Road was not only a cultural phenomenon, but also an economic powerhouse that significantly influenced the ancient world's economies. This sprawling network of trade routes connected merchants, markets, and consumers across vast distances, laying the groundwork for international trade as we know it today. The economic vitality of the Silk Road was rooted in the diverse goods traded along its length. While silk was a premier commodity, especially coveted in Rome, the routes also saw the exchange of gold, silver, ivory, precious stones, and exotic animals. Goods like wool, glassware, and ceramics from Europe and the Middle East found eager buyers in Asia. The Silk Road was also instrumental in the spice trade, with spices from India and Arabia being particularly prized for their flavor and as preservatives. This trade network had a substantial impact on the economies of the empires and states along its route. For instance, China's Han Dynasty, 206 BCE 220 CE, prospered significantly due to silk exports. The wealth generated from trade along the Silk Road helped fund monumental projects like the Great Wall of China and contributed to the prosperity of cities like Chang'an, modern-day Xi'an, a major trading hub. The Silk Road also fostered the development of merchant communities and the rise of cities. Cities like Samarkand in present-day Uzbekistan and Palmyra in Syria flourished as trading centers, growing wealthy and cosmopolitan. These cities were not just commercial hubs, but also melting pots of diverse cultures, where merchants from different lands lived and worked. Furthermore, the Silk Road influenced the development of banking and credit systems. To facilitate long-distance trade, traders needed systems of credit and banking. This need led to the emergence of bills of exchange and the establishment of merchant guilds and partnerships to finance and manage the risks of long-distance trade. The economic impact of the Silk Road is a testament to how trade can drive prosperity, spur innovation, and bind distant parts of the world together in a web of mutual benefit. The political landscape of the Silk Road. The Silk Road was more than a mere trade route. It was a political chessboard where empires and kingdoms maneuvered for power, influence, and wealth. The control of this network was a strategic priority for many rulers, as it could significantly enhance their kingdom's prosperity and prestige. Throughout its history, the Silk Road saw the rise and fall of powerful empires, each leaving its mark on the network. The Chinese Han Dynasty, 206 BCE, 220 CE, was among the first to recognize the Silk Road's value, sending envoys like Zhang Quan to Central Asia to establish alliances and open trade routes. This initiative helped integrate remote regions into a broader economic and political system. As the Silk Road expanded, it became a vital interest for other empires, including the Parthian Empire in Persia and, later, the Sassanid Empire. These empires controlled central sections of the Silk Road, acting as intermediaries between East and West. Their control allowed them to prosper, but it also made them targets for rivals seeking to dominate the lucrative trade routes. The Roman Empire, with its insatiable appetite for silk and other Eastern luxuries, also became entangled in the politics of the Silk Road. Although direct control was impossible due to the vast distances, Rome's involvement influenced the Silk Road's western end. The demand for silk in Rome was so high that it caused a significant outflow of gold, leading to economic concerns. In the Middle Ages, the rise of the Mongol Empire under Genghis Khan and his successors reshaped the Silk Road. The Mongols' unprecedented unification of much of the Eurasian landmass under a single rule, known as the Pax Mongolica, ensured relative safety and stability along the Silk Road. This period saw an increase in trade and cultural exchanges, as the Mongol Empire's tolerance for different cultures and religions facilitated interactions among diverse peoples. The Silk Road was not just a path of commerce, but also a route of political intrigue, warfare, and diplomacy. Control over its passages meant access to wealth, information, and power, making it a coveted asset for any empire. The Silk Road and the spread of knowledge and technology. The Silk Road was a conduit not just for goods, but also for the exchange of knowledge and technology, profoundly influencing the societies it connected. This network of routes facilitated the transmission of scientific ideas, technological innovations, and medical knowledge, contributing significantly to the advancement of civilizations. One of the most notable technological exchanges was the spread of papermaking and printing techniques from China to the West. The introduction of paper revolutionized record-keeping, literature, and education. replacing more expensive materials like parchment and papyrus. Similarly, the arrival of printing technology, especially movable type, played a crucial role in the dissemination of knowledge, paving the way for the European Renaissance. Astronomy and mathematics were other areas enriched by Silk Road exchanges. Indian numerals, including the concept of zero and mathematical concepts like algebra, which had roots in the Islamic world, made their way to Europe via this network. These contributions were fundamental to the development of modern mathematics and science. Medical knowledge and practices also traveled along the Silk Road. The exchange of medical texts and the spread of medicinal plants and techniques, such as acupuncture from China and herbal remedies from India, contributed to the diversity and effectiveness of medical practices in different cultures. The Silk Road also facilitated the spread of architectural knowledge, evident in the fusion of architectural styles across different regions. For instance, Islamic architectural elements can be seen in buildings as far away as Spain and India, illustrating the reach of cultural exchange. In the realm of engineering, the Silk Road saw the sharing of technologies like water management systems and metallurgical techniques. These innovations were crucial in supporting the growing urban centers along the trade routes and enhancing the capabilities of societies in warfare and construction. Thus, the Silk Road served as a bridge for the exchange of knowledge and technology, sowing seeds of innovation and progress that would blossom centuries later across the globe. The challenges and dangers of the Silk Road. Traveling the Silk Road was not without its perils and challenges. Merchants and travelers faced a myriad of dangers, from harsh natural environments to political turmoil and banditry. These challenges shaped the experiences of those who traversed these routes and influenced the very nature of trade and cultural exchange along the Silk Road. One of the most daunting aspects of the Silk Road was the sheer difficulty of the journey. Traversing this network meant crossing vast and varied terrains, the scorching deserts of Central Asia, such as the Taklamakan and Gobi deserts, treacherous mountain ranges like the Himalayas, and vast steppes and grasslands. Travelers had to contend with extreme weather conditions, from blistering heat to freezing cold, as well as the scarcity of water and food in certain regions. Political instability and warfare were constant threats. The Silk Road traversed numerous kingdoms and empires, each with its own shifting alliances and conflicts. Caravans could find themselves caught in the crossfire of local disputes or become targets of state aggression. The rise and fall of empires often led to changes in the control of different parts of the Silk Road, impacting the safety and accessibility of these routes. Banditry was another significant hazard. The valuable goods transported along the Silk Road attracted bandits and thieves, making certain sections of the route particularly dangerous. Caravan leaders had to be vigilant and often hired guards for protection, adding to the cost and complexity of Silk Road trade. Despite these dangers, the Silk Road flourished for centuries. This resilience was partly due to the development of caravanserais, fortified inns where travelers could rest, replenish supplies, and seek shelter from the dangers of the road. These establishments became vital support points along the Silk Road, providing safety and facilitating the exchange of information among travelers. The challenges of the Silk Road underscore the determination and resourcefulness of those who ventured along these routes. They navigated not only physical dangers, but also the complexities of diverse cultures, languages, and legal systems, embodying the spirit of adventure and exchange that defined this historic network. The decline of the Silk Road. The Silk Road, once the backbone of Eurasian trade and cultural exchange, gradually declined over several centuries. This decline was not due to a single event, but a combination of factors that eroded the relevance and functionality of this extensive network. One major factor was the shifting political landscape. The fragmentation of the Mongol Empire, which had provided a unifying force across much of the Silk Road, led to increased instability and insecurity along these routes. This fragmentation made travel and trade more dangerous and less predictable, deterring merchants and reducing the volume of trade. The rise of maritime trade routes was another critical factor in the Silk Road's decline. With advancements in navigation and shipbuilding, European explorers like Vasco da Gama and Christopher Columbus discovered sea roads to Asia, offering a more direct and less hazardous path to the riches of the East. These sea routes gradually became more popular as they were cheaper and faster, shifting the focus of international trade from land to sea. The spread of diseases along the Silk Road also played a role in its decline. The network had facilitated not only the exchange of goods and ideas, but also the spread of diseases. The most notorious example is the Black Death, a devastating pandemic that traveled along the Silk Road and significantly reduced populations in both Asia and Europe, disrupting societies and economies. Local and regional trade along segments of the Silk Road continued, but the grandeur and scope of the network as a whole diminished. Over time, once thriving cities and caravanserais along the routes fell into decline, and the Silk Road gradually faded from prominence, becoming a distant memory of a once interconnected world. The legacy of the Silk Road, however, lives on. It remains a symbol of the rich intercultural connections that shaped the ancient world and continues to inspire our understanding of global interconnectivity. The legacy of the Silk Road. The Silk Road, though no longer the bustling network of trade and cultural exchange it once was, has left an indelible mark on history and the modern world. Its legacy is multifaceted, influencing various aspects of contemporary life, culture, and international relations. Culturally, the Silk Road was a catalyst for some of the earliest forms of globalization. It fostered a level of intercultural interaction that was unprecedented for its time. This exchange is evident in the art, music, literature, and culinary traditions of the regions it touched, where elements from distant cultures have become integral parts of local customs. In the realm of religion and philosophy, the Silk Road facilitated the spread of major world religions like Buddhism, Christianity, and Islam, along with various philosophies and ways of thinking. The exchange of religious and philosophical ideas along these routes not only spread these belief systems, but also led to their adaptation and evolution as they interacted with different cultures. The Silk Road's influence on global trade is undeniable. It set the stage for the development of complex international trade networks, demonstrating the economic benefits of cross-cultural trade and exchange. The principles of trade, commerce, and the interconnectedness of markets that were a hallmark of the Silk Road continue to underpin the modern global economy. In terms of technology and knowledge exchange, the Silk Road was instrumental in the spread of innovations like papermaking, printing, gunpowder, and the compass. These technologies, originally developed in China, revolutionized societies far beyond their point of origin. Finally, the story of the Silk Road resonates in today's efforts to build international cooperation and understanding. It serves as a historical example of how diverse societies can benefit from mutual exchange and dialogue, a lesson that remains relevant in our increasingly interconnected world. The Silk Road, therefore, is not just a historical route, but a symbol of human connectivity and shared heritage, a testament to the enduring impact of cultural and economic exchange across boundaries. Rediscovering and preserving the Silk Road. In modern times, there has been a growing interest in rediscovering and preserving the rich history of the Silk Road. This interest stems from a desire to understand the complexities of ancient trade networks and their impact on shaping our world. Efforts to preserve and study the Silk Road are crucial in recognizing the shared heritage of humanity and the interconnectedness of our past. Archaeological efforts have played a key role in uncovering the mysteries of the Silk Road. Excavations along its routes have unearthed ancient cities, caravanserais, and artifacts that offer insights into the lives of those who traveled and traded on these paths. Sites like the city of Palmyra in Syria and the Mogayo caves in China provided invaluable information about the cultural and economic dynamics of the Silk Road. Preservation of these historical sites is of paramount importance. Many of these locations face threats from urban development, environmental degradation, and in some cases, conflict and vandalism. International cooperation and initiatives, often led by organizations like you in ESCCO, are vital in protecting and preserving these sites for future generations. Beyond physical preservation, there is also an emphasis on cultural preservation. Festivals, exhibitions, and cultural exchanges are organized worldwide to celebrate the diverse heritage of the Silk Road. These events often highlight the music, dance, art, and culinary traditions of the regions connected by these ancient trade routes. Academic research and collaboration have also been instrumental in rediscovering the Silk Road. Historians, archaeologists, and scholars from various disciplines work together to piece together the complex history of this network. Their work not only sheds light on the past, but also helps in drawing parallels and understanding the implications for current global interactions. The renewed interest in the Silk Road is a testament to its enduring fascination and importance. As a bridge between the past and present, the efforts to rediscover and preserve the Silk Road help us appreciate the depth and breadth of human history and the timeless value of cultural exchange and cooperation. The Silk Road in the modern world. In the modern era, the legacy of the Silk Road continues to resonate, influencing contemporary politics, economics, and culture. The principles and patterns established by this ancient network have parallels in today's globalized world, highlighting the timeless relevance of intercultural exchange and trade. Politically and economically, the spirit of the Silk Road is being revived through initiatives like China's Belt and Road Initiative, BRI. Launched in 2013, the BRI seeks to create a modern equivalent of the Silk Road with a network of trade routes connecting Asia with Africa, Europe, and beyond. This ambitious project aims to enhance regional connectivity and foster economic development through infrastructure investments, trade agreements, and cultural exchange. Culturally, the Silk Road's influence is evident in the continued fascination and respect for diverse traditions and histories. The intermingling of cultures that was a hallmark of the Silk Road can be seen in the multicultural societies of many countries today. The Silk Road has also inspired art, literature, and film, capturing the imagination of creators and audiences with its tales of adventure, discovery, and exchange. The Silk Road's model of cultural and economic exchange is increasingly relevant in addressing global challenges. In a world facing issues like climate change, economic inequality, and cultural conflicts, the Silk Road's history of connecting disparate peoples and facilitating mutual benefit provides valuable lessons in cooperation and understanding. Moreover, the Silk Road's legacy in science, technology, and education continues to inspire international collaboration and knowledge sharing. As we face a future where global cooperation is more critical than ever, the Silk Road serves as a reminder of the benefits that arise from open exchange and mutual learning. In conclusion, the Silk Road is more than a historical route. It is a symbol of the interconnectedness of human civilization. Its legacy lives on, reminding us that our shared history is a tapestry woven from threads of diverse cultures, ideas, and innovations, and that our future, too, can be shaped by the same spirit of collaboration and exchange.